The massive research station hung like a silver wheel against the endless black of space. Its curved halls twisted and turned, filled with sounds that no human ear had ever heard before. Judd Park walked these halls every day, feeling both out of place and completely at home. At 23, Jay was the youngest human in the Interstellar Research Academy's exchange program. Most of the time, he felt like the smallest fish in the biggest, weirdest ocean possible. Around him, creatures from 100 different worlds moved, talked, and studied. Some were tall, some were short, some weren't even solid. The Krell-Theory researchers looked like walking crystal mountains. Their sharp edges caught the artificial light, throwing rainbow colors across the corridor walls. Next to them, the verdant scientists appeared as walking green trees, their leaf-like skin shifting colors with their emotions. Aarons moved like living clouds, their gaseous bodies changing shape with every breath. And then there was Jai, just a normal human from Seoul. Nothing special, or so he thought. His current assignment was simple but important. He worked as a junior assistant in the quantum communication research team. Most days, this meant carrying equipment, taking notes, and trying not to look too confused when the senior researchers discussed complex theories that seemed to bend the rules of reality. Today was different. The research station orbited a binary star system so complex that most species needed special protective gear just to look at it through observation windows. Two massive stars danced around each other, their gravitational pull creating incredible light shows and dangerous radiation zones. Scientists from across the galaxy had come here to study this unique cosmic phenomenon. Jay's lab was located on the eastern spoke of the station. It was a circular room with windows that showed the stars spinning in their endless dance. Strange machines covered every wall. Some looked like musical instruments. Others looked like they could destroy entire planets with a single button press. "Park," a voice called out. Hyun Kim, the lead researcher, walked towards him. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. Born in Busan, she had spent her entire career studying quantum communication methods that could potentially link civilizations across impossible distances. "We have a critical experiment today," she said, her voice crisp and professional. "I need you to prepare the quantum entanglement chambers." Jay nodded, his hands already moving to set up the delicate equipment. He might feel like an outsider, but he was determined to prove himself. The quantum entanglement chambers were sensitive machines that could connect communication signals across light years in seconds. One wrong move could destroy months of research. Around him, alien researchers from different teams watched with mild curiosity. Some looked bored. Others seemed slightly amused by the humans' careful movements. Jai knew what they were thinking. Humans were still considered newcomers in the galactic research community. Young, untested, primitive. Little did they know how much was about to change. As Jay adjusted the last connection in the quantum chamber, he felt a small spark of excitement. Something told him today was going to be different. Something special was going to happen. He had no idea how right he was. The station hummed with energy. Machines blinked. Alien researchers prepared their daily experiments. And outside, the binary stars continued their endless, beautiful dance. The research team gathered around the main lab table. 5 different species sat or stood or floated, each looking totally different, but sharing one thing: a deep love for science. Hyun Kim stood at the center, her fingers dancing over a holographic display. The quantum communication project was her baby, a dream she had worked on for years. If successful, it would change how different civilizations talk to each other forever. Jay watched carefully. He knew his job was to help, not to ask too many questions. But his eyes were sharp, and his mind was always thinking. The Krell-Theory researchers looked like walking crystal statues. Their body was made of sharp, shiny rocks that changed colors when they moved. They clicked and hummed when they talked, their language a mix of sounds that no human could easily understand. Today, 2 of them, named Krix and Zara, were checking the signal amplification equipment. On the other side of the lab, the verdant scientists stood like living trees. Their green skin moved like leaves in a soft wind. They could absorb light and turn it into energy, just like plants on Earth. Woon and Farah were studying the communication frequency maps, their leaf fingers touching delicate data screens. The luminars were different again. They looked like living light, bodies made of soft, glowing energy. They could change shape and color faster than a human could blink. Kai and Lura floated near the quantum entanglement chambers, their bodies casting soft blue and purple lights across the lab. 2 more species completed the team. The Errands looked like moving clouds of different colors. They could change shape and move through tiny spaces. And the Resonants, they were perhaps the strangest. They communicated through magnetic fields, their bodies creating complex patterns that looked like dancing lines of invisible energy. "We are ready," Hyun announced. Her voice was calm but excited. The project was simple in idea but super complex in practice. They wanted to create a communication method that could send messages across impossible distances, not just radio waves or light signals, something that could work faster than anything ever created before. Jay's job was to monitor the backup systems. He watched the screens carefully, his fingers ready to push buttons if anything went wrong. Most of the alien researchers saw him as just a helper, but Hyun knew better. She had seen his quick thinking before. "Check quantum stability," Hyun called out. Crix from the Kreltheri team moved first. His crystal body shifted, showing complex patterns that meant he was running quick calculations. The holographic screens around him filled with numbers and strange symbols. Woon from the Verdant team was next. His leaf fingers moved across data screens, checking energy levels and communication frequencies. His body changed from bright green to a soft yellow, a sign he was concentrating hard. Kai from the Luminars sent waves of soft light across the equipment. These light waves were actually complex scanning signals, checking every tiny part of the communication system. Jay watched all of this. He might look like he was just standing there, but his mind was working fast. He was tracking multiple systems, ready to jump in if something went wrong. The lad was quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that happens before something big is about to happen. The kind of quiet that means something important is coming. Nobody knew just how important this day was going to be. The first warning came as a tiny red light. Jay saw it first. A small blinking dot on the far right of his monitoring screen. Most people would have missed it, but not him. "Something's wrong," he said quietly. Hyun turned. Her eyes caught the same tiny red light. For just a moment, everything stopped. Then the universe exploded. A massive solar wave hit the research station like a giant hammer. The binary stars outside the window suddenly flashed with impossible brightness. Waves of electromagnetic energy crashed against the station's shields. The lights went out. Not just in the lab. Everywhere. Emergency systems should have kicked in. They didn't. Jay felt the station shake. Equipment crashed to the floor. Screens went dark. The soft background hum of machines died completely. Panic spread faster than the darkness. The Kreltheri researchers immediately curled into defensive crystal shells. Their bodies transformed into hard, protective shapes. Sharp edges glinted in the total blackness, but they were frozen in fear. Woon from the Verdant team started to wilt. Without light, his plant-like body began to lose energy. His green skin turned a scary pale color. He looked like a dying tree, his leaf fingers dropping to the floor. The Luminars were worst off. They were basically living light. With no energy source, they began to fade. Their bodies flickered like dying candles. Kai and Lura, once bright and beautiful, now looked like weak, fading shadows. Errands started to collapse. Without stable energy, their cloud-like bodies began to break apart. They looked like smoke losing its shape, spreading thin across the lab floor. The resonance created wild, panicked magnetic fields. Their invisible energy patterns went crazy, spinning, breaking, reforming in wild, scared movements. Hyun Kim tried to stay calm, but even she looked worried. "Life support is failing," she said. Her voice was loud in the darkness. Jai knew what that meant. Without power, the station's air recycling systems would stop working. Oxygen would run out. Temperature controls would fail. They had maybe 2 hours before things got really bad. Most of the alien researchers were frozen. Some cried out in languages Jay couldn't understand. Others just sat still, waiting for someone to save them. But Jay was different. His training kicked in. While everyone else panicked, he started thinking. The human part of his brain, the part that solved problems, was already working. He remembered something from his emergency training, a small piece of equipment he had brought with him. Something nobody thought was important. A bicycle generator. It wasn't much, just a simple machine he had modified during his last training course. Most of the alien researchers had laughed when they saw it. A human-made device, they said. Primitive, useless. Now, it might be the only thing that could save them all. Jay moved carefully in the darkness. One step, then another. He knew exactly where his emergency kit was stored. His hands found the familiar shape of the generator. Outside the station's windows, the binary stars continued their dangerous dance. Inside, everything was quiet. But not for long. The emergency kit felt heavy in Jay's hands. Around him, the darkness was total. But he didn't need light to know what he was doing. His fingers moved quickly. Years of training and practice worked like magic. Most people would be scared. Most people would give up. Not Ja. The bicycle generator was special. Ja had spent months modifying it during his last training course at the Interstellar Exploration Academy. His instructors thought he was wasting time. The alien students laughed. A bicycle? In space? It seemed silly. But Jay knew something they didn't. Humans were good at making things work. Really good. He pulled out a small flashlight. Its beam was weak, but enough to see. Hyun Kim watched him, her eyes big with worry and something else. "Hope. What are you doing?" she whispered. Jay didn't answer right away. His hands were busy. He connected strange wires. He pulled out adapters he had made himself. Each piece was carefully packed in his emergency kit. Each piece had a purpose. The bicycle generator wasn't just a bicycle. It was a machine of hope. Jay sat on the generator. It was like a special exercise bike, but with extra parts. Wires ran from its base. Small metal connections waited to be plugged in. Most of the alien researchers had no idea what he was doing. Crix, the Krell-theory researcher, spoke first. His crystal body caught the small flashlight's beam, making rainbow colors dance. "What is the human doing?" he clicked and hummed. Nobody answered. Jay began to pedal. At first, nothing happened, just the soft sound of metal parts moving. The bicycle made no noise, but something was changing. Woon from the Verdant team leaned forward. His plant-like body was still weak, but curiosity made him move. He watched Jay's legs move up and down. Pedal. Stop. Pedal. Stop. Sweat began to form on Jay's forehead. His muscles started to burn, but he didn't stop. Suddenly, a small light blinked. Then another. A computer screen flickered. The alien researchers watched in complete silence. Hyun Kim's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Jay kept pedaling. Faster now. His legs moved like machines. Up and down. Up and down. Sweat ran down his face. His shirt was getting wet. But he didn't stop. More lights came on. First, just emergency lights, soft and red. Then stronger lights, white and bright. The life support systems began to hum. Crix's crystal body began to shine again. Woon's green skin started to look healthy. The luminars flickered back to life, their bodies glowing softly. "Impossible," Hyun whispered. But it was happening. Jay's bicycle generator was bringing the station back to life. Piece by piece, system by system, The alien researchers stared. They had never seen anything like this before. A human, a simple bicycle, saving an entire research station. Jay kept pedaling. He didn't know it yet, but everything was about to change. 1 hour passed, then another. Jay kept pedaling. His legs hurt. His back was sore. Sweat covered his entire body. But he didn't stop. The research station slowly came back to life. First, the main computer systems started working. Screens flickered. Data began to flow. The alien researchers watched in total shock. Hyun Kim checked the station's power readings. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. "This is impossible," she said again and again. The Krell theory researchers moved first. Their crystal bodies began to shine again. Crix walked close to Ja, his rocky form catching the light in strange ways. "How?" he asked. His language was a mix of clicks and soft humming sounds. Jay just kept pedaling. The verdant scientists were next. Woon's plant-like body started to recover. His green skin became bright again. Leaves that had been dying now looked healthy and strong. Lura, one of the Luminars, floated closer to Ja. Her body was made of pure light. She could see energy in ways other species couldn't. "The human is creating power," she said. Her voice sounded like soft music. "He is making energy from movement." The station's main systems came online one by one. Life support, working. Communication arrays, slowly coming back. Research equipment, starting to reboot. Jay's bicycle generator was doing something no one thought possible. The Errands, those cloud-like researchers, began to reform. Their misty bodies took shape again. They watched Ja with total surprise. "A human," one of them whispered, "saving us all." Hyun Kim walked closer to Ja. She watched his legs move, up and down, up and down. The bicycle made almost no sound, but it was creating power for an entire space station. "How long can you keep doing this?" she asked. Jay didn't look up. His eyes were focused. His body was working like a machine. "As long as needed," he said simply. The resonance, those strange magnetic field creatures, created patterns of energy around Ja. It was like they were trying to understand him, trying to see how he worked. More systems came online. The research lab started to look normal again. Machines hummed. Computers worked. The station's temperature returned to normal. But Jay kept pedaling. His emergency training had taught him one thing: never stop. Keep going. Find a solution. Outside the station's windows, the binary stars continued their dangerous dance. Inside, a human was creating a miracle. Crix moved closer to Hyun Kim. His crystal body made soft clicking sounds. "Humans," he said, "we did not understand them before." Hyun just nodded. Jay's legs kept moving. Up and down, up and down. The station was alive again, because of one human, one bicycle, one impossible solution. Nobody knew it yet, but everything was about to change. 3 hours had passed since the blackout began. Jay was still pedaling, but something was changing. The bicycle generator wasn't just keeping the station alive anymore. It was making the station stronger, better, more powerful than before the blackout. Hyun Kim couldn't stop watching the computer screens. Numbers and data moved faster than she had ever seen. The research station systems were working at levels nobody thought possible. "This is not normal," she said to herself. The alien researchers began to study Ja. Not just watch him, really study him. Crix, the Krell theory researcher, used special scanning equipment. His crystal body created complex light patterns that could see through machines. He wanted to understand how Jay's generator worked. "The energy conversion is impossible," Crix clicked and hummed. But it was happening. Woon from the Verdant team brought special energy measurement tools. His plant-like fingers moved carefully over the bicycle's connections. He checked and double-checked the power readings. The human is creating more energy than the generator should be able to make, he said. Lyra, the Luminar researcher, floated around the bicycle. Her body of pure light could see energy in ways other species couldn't. She watched how power moved through the machine. He is not just creating power, she said softly. He is improving the power system. The station's backup systems were supposed to work for 2 hours. Jay's generator had been working for 3 hours, and it wasn't slowing down. More strange things started to happen. The communication arrays began to work better than ever. Signals that used to take minutes now moved in seconds. Research data transferred faster than any technology they had seen before. Hyun checked the cooling systems. They were working perfectly, better than perfectly. How is he doing this? She whispered. Jay just kept pedaling. His legs moved up and down. Sweat covered his body. But he looked calm, focused. The Aarons, those cloud-like researchers, created special energy maps. They could see how power moved through the station. What they saw made no sense. The human is not just creating power, one of them said. He is redesigning how power works. The resonance, those magnetic field creatures, created complex energy patterns around Ja. It was like they were trying to understand his body, his movement, his way of thinking. Crix brought out more scanning equipment. His crystal body caught the light, making rainbow colors dance across the lab. Look, he said to the other researchers. On the screens, they could see inside the bicycle generator. Jay had modified every part. Nothing was standard. Everything was changed, improved. A simple bicycle, modified by a human, saving an entire research station, and doing something more, something nobody expected, making everything work better. Jay didn't know it yet, but he was showing the galaxy something important. Humans were not just survivors. They were problem solvers. The alien researchers kept watching, kept studying, and Jay kept pedaling. The researchers worked through the night, but they were not studying their original project anymore. They were studying Jay's bicycle generator. Every alien scientist wanted to understand how it worked. Hyun Kim brought out special tools, scanning equipment that could look inside machines, see how they worked, break down every tiny piece. Crix, the Krell-Theory researcher, created complex light maps. His crystal body moved around the bicycle, catching light, sending out special scanning waves. This is not just a machine, he said. This is art. The bicycle was nothing like its original design. Jay had changed everything. Normal bicycle parts, gone. Standard generator pieces, totally different. He had added cooling systems made from old water bottles, wires that were connected in ways no engineer would expect. Small metal pieces from different machines, all working together. Moon from the Verdant team brought special energy measurement tools. His plant-like fingers moved carefully, checking, double-checking. The cooling system is genius, he said. Most cooling systems used lots of power. Jay's system used almost no power. It worked better than systems 10 times bigger. The Luminar researchers studied the wiring. Lyra's body of pure light could see energy moving in ways other species couldn't. Look, she said, he used old computer parts, communication wires, things other people would throw away. Jay had taken trash, broken equipment, things nobody wanted, and made them work perfectly. The Aarons created special energy maps, cloud-like bodies moving around the bicycle, showing how power moved. Humans adapt, one of them said. They see a problem. They find a solution. Hyun Kim looked at the computer screens. Numbers and data moved fast. The bicycle generator was doing things no machine should be able to do. It wasn't just creating power, it was creating better power. Faster communications, better cooling, more efficient energy transfer. The resonance, those magnetic field creatures, created complex energy patterns. Trying to understand Jay's thinking. Humans look at problems differently, they said. Most species would give up during a blackout, Most would wait for rescue. Jay made a solution. From a bicycle. From trash. From things other people would ignore. The researchers worked all night, taking pictures, making notes, scanning every part of the generator. They were learning something important. Humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were problem solvers, creative thinkers, masters of adaptation. As the binary stars outside began to rise, the research station hummed with energy. Powered by a human, saved by a bicycle. Nobody would look at humans the same way again. Jay didn't know it yet, but he was changing everything. The first rescue ships arrived 2 days after the blackout. They expected to find a dead station. Instead, they found something else entirely. Jay was still sitting on his bicycle, not pedaling anymore, but watching, listening. The rescue team came from 5 different star systems. They carried special emergency equipment, big machines, complicated tools. They stopped when they entered the research station. Everything was working perfectly, better than perfectly. Crix, the Krell-Theory researcher, walked forward. His crystal body caught the light. Rainbow colors danced around him. "The human saved us," he told the rescue team. Kim brought out all the data, numbers, graphs, detailed reports about the bicycle generator, how it worked, what it did. The rescue team couldn't believe their eyes. One of the senior researchers, an old Aaron with a cloud-like body, stepped forward. He looked at Jay, then looked at the bicycle. "Tell me everything," he said. So they did. They showed how Jay had taken a simple bicycle, modified every part, created a power system that worked better than any advanced technology. The researchers from different star systems listened carefully. They learned about human problem solving, about creativity, about looking at problems in new ways. Woon from the Verdant team explained the cooling system, how Jay had used old water bottles, broken wires, things other species would throw away. Lura, the Luminar researcher, showed the energy transfer maps, how the bicycle generator moved power in ways no one thought possible. The rescue team asked Jay questions, lots of questions. "How did you know this would work?" they asked. Jay just shrugged. "I didn't," he said. "I just tried something." That answer surprised them more than anything else. Most species would have a complex plan, detailed calculations, months of research. Jay just tried something, and it worked. The senior researchers began talking, not just about the rescue, about humans. "We have been wrong about them," the old Aaron said. "Very wrong." More ships arrived, more researchers came. They all wanted to learn about the bicycle generator, about how Jay had saved the station. Kim watched everything. She was proud, not just of Jay, but of what he represented. Human creativity, human problem solving, the ability to look at a problem and find a solution, any solution. By the end of the week, requests came from everywhere. Different star systems wanted to learn more about human problem-solving techniques. Universities wanted to study the bicycle generator. Engineering schools wanted to understand Jay's modifications. Diplomatic teams wanted to talk to humans. Jay became more than just a researcher. He became an unexpected ambassador, showing the galaxy something important. Humans were not just another species. They were innovators, problem solvers, masters of adaptation. The bicycle that saved a research station would become a legend, a symbol of human potential, and nobody saw it coming. 6 months after the blackout, everything had changed. Jay sat in a big meeting room. Alien researchers from across the galaxy watched him, not with confusion anymore, but with respect. The bicycle generator sat in the center of the room, a simple machine that had become something more. A symbol. Kim stood next to him. She smiled. She knew what this moment meant. Representatives from 5 different star systems listened carefully. The Krell-Theory, the Verdant, the Luminars, the Aarons, the Resonants, all of them wanted to understand humans better. Crix, the crystal researcher who first studied Jay's generator, spoke first. Humans are not what we thought, he said. His language was a mix of clicks and soft sounds. They are more. The story of the bicycle generator had spread across the galaxy. Every research station, every university, every diplomatic center knew about it. A human, a simple bicycle, saving an entire research station. Jay felt uncomfortable with all the attention. He was just doing his job, just trying to solve a problem. But the alien researchers saw something different. They saw creativity. They saw problem solving. They saw hope. "We want to learn," the verdant representative said. "We want to understand how humans think." New research programs were created. Universities across the galaxy started studying human adaptation techniques, how humans solved problems, how they looked at challenges differently. The bicycle generator became more than a machine. It became a teaching tool. Woon, the plant-like researcher, explained it best. "Humans see possibilities where others see problems," he said. More human researchers were invited to international research stations, not just as assistants, but as key team members, as problem solvers. Diplomatic meetings changed. Trade discussions changed. Everything changed. All because of one human, one bicycle, one impossible solution. Jai knew he was just lucky. He had done what anyone would do. Find a solution. Keep trying. Never give up. But the galaxy saw something more. They saw potential. They saw hope. They saw the future. The old ways of thinking were gone. Humans were not just another species anymore. They were innovators, creators, problem solvers. Outside the meeting room, the binary stars continued their dangerous dance. Inside, a new understanding was being born. Hyun Kim looked at Ja. She saw more than just a researcher. She saw the future of exploration, the future of understanding. "What will you do next?" she asked him. Ja just smiled. "Find another problem to solve," he said simply. And that was the point. Humans would always find a way. Always keep moving forward, no matter what challenges came. A bicycle had saved a research station. But hope, creativity, determination, they would save entire worlds. The galaxy would never be the same.